Hey survivors, and welcome back on Sons of the Forest channel. It's time for the second part of the breakdown of the third trailer. But before we continue, I want to add some things I missed and you told me to check. In the second sequence, while we are building the campfire, we can see there is a strange light on the sand. Many have said that this could be the reflection of the watch on the ground that will show us our stats, for example the health and the hunger, like in Stranded Deep. In the shark shin, we see that there is a light in the background. Many have said that this is the second player, or maybe it is an NPC that is using his flashlight. It could be, because Android confirmed many and many times multiplayer will be available on launch. Okay, now let's start with the breakdown. Out of the caves, we finally have a first look at the left side of the inventory. We can see there are places for meat, snacks, military meals, and also juices or a sort of quick drink, or maybe also noodles. More interesting is absolutely the animation of the player modifying the shotgun, changing the butt of the weapon. This will expand the possibility of combination for all the weapons and give to the game a large menu of attack strategies. As I said in the first part, here there is another shot of Dismemberment, where this poor and lonely cannibal is brutally shot by the player and literally destroyed. His mask got broken and his body completely mutilated by the shotgun. And after a quick recharge, we are ready to make another armless native suffer with our electric baton. And our cruelty also allows us to probably cut his head off and show it to his so-loved friends and brothers that scared run away afraid. And of course we also use it for our effigies, that look like they will return in Sons of the Forest. In this shot, we can also see the legs of the character, and he is using the boots we saw in the mage shared last month. It's almost impossible that there is our foot in the inventory. It's more probable the boots will be put on and taken off when we want, like in the forest. The next sequence shows us again the amazing building animation. This time we are building some defensive walls. Now, let's just spend a little bit of time here, because now I have a theory. I guess the player here is modifying the normal walls to make spikes on them. And that is scary. Yes, because that means we will have to build the normal walls first, and then we will have to change them. There won't be a recipe to build the defensive walls directly. There must be something to change to make them. Like also the windowed walls shown in the second trailer. I guess that was a normal wall at the beginning, that was modified by the player into a windowed wall. Of course this will make Sons of the Forest realistic and very detailed, but that also means that the building process will be extremely long. To build the defensive walls, you will have to build the normal ones first. To build a windowed wall, you need the normal one first. Oh god. That is going to be very realistic and so damn long. Let's go over and analyze this incredible scene of a fight between us and our only Virginia against the cannibals. And also mutants, but let's go with order. Now we see that Virginia can handle weapons and so defend herself. She can help us fighting if we want. And now she also wears clothes. It looks like a military uniform or a lizard skin armor. I can't say it for sure, but if the last one is right, then we can expect the lizards to come back to Sons of the Forest. Our beloved lady is shooting at two creatures that at the beginning I thought were just cannibals, but some of you during the live stream said they were a little strange. And you were right. They are incredibly big, like fat cannibals. Of course I don't think they're going to be natives. I guess they are another type of mutants, maybe a new version of the Forest Cowman. Then there is a very short shot of a cannibal climbing our wall and jumping off it. It really surprises me how good the interaction between the natives and the buildings is. I love it. And what's better than a good old dismemberment to end this amazing fight sequence? A lance rate. Nothing. Virginia literally blows up at the pure cannibal with the shotgun, and the head of the native falls down while from his body the guts come out. That is incredibly detailed and disgusting, even distressing. Yet in this sequence, we have a first look at stairs and at a tall building. Maybe it is the log cabin that in the forest could be placed higher, or maybe also custom foundations that could return in Sons of the Forest. Last scene in the forest, we have a first in action look at the tree-like mutant. It really reminds me of the worm because of how tall and slim it is. Sadly, we know nothing about its abilities or attacks. Also, we finally have a first look at the Molotovs and a better look at the lighter. It could be an electric lighter, so it will need to be recharged. As Android said previously, there will be so much stuff that will need electric energy to be recharged. For example, the chainsaw, that will come back to Sons of the Forest. In the plane scene, we are looking at a brochure about the bunker we saw in trailer 2. On the front part, we see that it is an exclusive luxury bunker community, so it's clearly linked with it. Also, in the back part we can read that in the exclusive amenities, it talks about state-of-the-art pool facilities. We saw in the cave sequence there was an inflatable pool toy, so it came from this company. But what does this mean? How is it linked with the story of the Forest Saga? On the front part, we see down there it is written, "Ask about our drug customer," and the rest of the line is covered by our hand. This could be linked with the Sahara company, that is also called Sahara Therapeutics, known in the medicine sector and that was worldwide publicly working on the 2 artifacts of the forest. So we can assume this brochure is about the bunker that is now owned by Sahara company. Before we continue with this topic, we have to analyze the last sequence, where we see 2 men fighting a giant mutant. Now, this is the craziest part of the trailer. The mutant is rumored to be the same of this picture shared last year and that I already analyzed, and the same of the forest ending. Also, it could be the same that we call the giant hand mutant. Oh my god, they could be the same mutant! Then, these 2 men are probably Timmy and Eric, that is the first character of the forest. We can assume this from his line, "Get down, son!" And because the man that could be Timmy has a scare on his face, like Timmy in the forest ending. And their presence here is clearly linked with the plane sequence, and this is probably the plane they used to come here. Lastly, in the images of the brochure, we can see some assets of the bunker, and the last scene is probably set in one of them. That means that this probably boss fight will be set in the bunker. Okay, now that the craziest part is explained, it's better to focus on some more interesting things. In the background of this scene, we can also see a person with an axe in his back, probably the Firemen Axe that we saw in the inventory image. There is also another dead body in this sequence, and judging by his uniform, he could be a soldier, maybe one of the 2 that were with us in the helicopter. But will it be the soldier taken by the giant hand, or the one that was entering the cave? I don't know. And also there is the mystery of the 2 soldiers that were impaled on the coast. There are so many mysteries in this trailer. Lastly, Here we also have a look at the rifle that we already have seen in the inventory image shared last month. To end this epic trailer, they finally revealed the release date of the game, that is set on 20th of May 2022. We will have to wait that long to get the game, and I know that it is extremely long, but now we know when our pain will end, and that is important. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you enjoyed this second part of the breakdown. I always remind you to leave a like and consider subscribing, follow me on all the social media, especially on our Reddit community and Discord server. If I missed something, always remember that you can comment and share your opinions, so share what you have seen and maybe I didn't. And guys, always remember to survive the forest.